everybody. It's the Rob from Kiss 106 and 103 GBFRocks.com. Here with my tag team partner in podcasting, the Kona Crush from Kona, Hawaii, Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Good morning. I could also be one of the colognes. I could be Carlito today with an apple.
Jerry Caribbean Cool Valeri.
Ooh, come to Puerto Rico.
I love how
stabbed in the streets.
I'm assuming you do this, but when you put on a Hawaiian shirt, you turn into Steve Martin when you do the hey, yeah.
And the finger guns, I got them all going.
What is it with the Hawaiian shirt that triggers Steve Martin in you?
You should have seen me at the luau over the weekend. I don't know. I'm just like, hey, I come walking into the party.
It's all...
What? Two wild and crazy guys.
Jerry, just for no reason, starts doing King Tut. Oh, good morning.
Oh, good.
Are you a Steve Martin guy?
Love Steve Martin. My favorite comedy of all time is The Jerk. Like, that movie's so good.
Okay, so I watched The Jerk for the first time within the past year.
All I need is this paddle ball and this chair and this lamp. That's all I need. And all I need is this goldfish and this paddle ball and this chicken, this goldfish and this chair. That's all I need.
I thought the movie was hysterically funny, held up so much better than other comedies from that time frame did. And if I had to compare it to any movie, I'd compare it to Dumb and Dumber, which is such praise coming from me. I think Dumb and Dumber is the funniest movie from my childhood.
And to say that The Jerk holds up well and didn't age poorly is really a testament to the creative writing, because they say the N-word in that movie, and they do it if you can do it right, they do it right. You know, the way he does it, you know, because he's raised by black people. And at one point, you've got those Gambinos around the pool, and he's like, sir, you are talking to and then you're like, oh, my God. Only Steve Martin could say that.
Now, listen, I want to be serious for a moment, and I want to let people know that racial jokes were wrong back then, and they're wrong now.
Yes.
But still, a movie can be funny.
It's allowed to be funny. It's right. It's allowed to still be kind of funny.
Absolutely.
And it was also making fun, and it was making fun of racism, which I'm okay with.
That's the thing. That's exactly what it was. Thank you, Jerry.
Yes, they were satirically poking fun at the racists.
For as funny as I find Steve Martin, I find Martin Short to be unfunny.
I never got Martin Short so much. Yeah, for me, it was Steve Martin. Always. Belushi never made me laugh either.
Oh, I love Belushi. Yeah,
Dan Aykroyd gets me. Bill Murray gets me. Yes, Chevy Chase has always gotten me.
Yes.
I mean, those guys. But Martin Short, Jiminy Glick was kind of funny, that show for a hot minute.
No.
He was good in The Three Amigos.
I haven't seen that.
It's Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short. It's
I know.
Two out of three that you like. So
yeah, but you know my buddy John's favorite quote.
What?
You have 2 gallons of ice cream and 1 gallon of crap. You mix them all together. What do you have?
3 gallons of crap.
You have 3 gallons of crap. I'm not eating it.
I'm not having that.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey now.
Day late for a SmackDown review. How's things in Jerry Valeri's world?
Things are okay. They could be a lot better. I wanted to redeem myself from the other night. So since we always lead the show off talking about the sexual escapades, last night I laid my son down, and then my wife went and laid my daughter down, and then I went into the bedroom and I got ready and I sent her a text. And I waited like 10 minutes. I was like, I'm sending her a text. And I was like, I need you to get your butt over to the bedroom and lock the door and have your pants off. Send. And I waited like 3 minutes, and then I hear movement in the hallway, and the door's open, and I'm like, yeah. And it's my son. He's like, Dad, I can't sleep. And I'm like, hey, buddy, what's happening, pal? What's going on? He must have been confused as to why I went to the bathroom quickly, wrapped in the comforter. Excuse me for a second. I've got to go into the closet. I've got to get dressed again.
Was that the end of that story, or is there a happy ending?
No happy ending. He laid down in bed with me, and then we both fell asleep. And then when I woke up,
is it bad to just be like, "Hey, pal, I love you, but you got to go to your own bed tonight"?
he was having a hard time sleeping. Yeah. Sometimes we do that. You want to be like, come on, you gotta get out of here. I want to wrestle your mom, but he can't do that.
I'm taking your mom to Suplex City.
Yeah, you're darn right. I'm gonna put her in a full Nelson. I'm gonna make her humble. I'm gonna make her put her in the camel clutch. I'm gonna make her humble.
I saw some sort of thing from Kayfabe News. It was like the suplex are. I forget how they worded it, but the suplex named the official wrestling move of Germany, or something like that. It was very funny worded. It was better than what I said. I just ruined it, but
German suplex. That's good. So I did watch SmackDown Live, and I'm ready to talk about it if you are.
Yeah. My review, while it wasn't piss poor, is not as glowing as my Raw review.
If we're comparing SmackDown to Raw, and I know that's what we do, Raw gets the edge as the better show. It just does. But SmackDown this week compared to SmackDowns of the past couple of weeks, I thought was very good.
Man, I would just say it was, if we're comparing it to the past previous weeks, I would say it was average. It didn't do much for me, although I will say, really since the last pay-per-view, and the only exception kind of being the Raw reunion, every show has been focused on SummerSlam, which is good. Last night being no different, but nothing, I'm sorry, I guess 2 nights ago, I should say. But nothing from 2 nights ago really did much for me.
I enjoyed it, and I figured you'd feel that way because something I was looking forward to, you didn't think was going to actually happen or needed to happen, and that was The Fiend. And we got not only a Firefly Funhouse, but we got a quick Fiend moment as well, which I was totally okay with. Because Firefly Funhouse was done in a little different way. They're building to what I think is one of the most highly anticipated matches on the card, just because people want to see Bray Wyatt.
Hey, I've got nothing bad to say about that segment. Why am I not remembering anything outside of the Firefly Funhouse? What am I forgetting? Okay, I remember now. You're
forgetting the very beginning. I thought started really strong with Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens getting a clean win over Drew McIntyre a lot.
I meant specifically with Bray.
Oh, with Bray?
But I remember now. There was a weird moment where a camera the lights went dark during a Finn Balor match.
Yeah, with Dolph Ziggler.
And then a camera just caught Bray, but I don't think he was in the ring.
No, they never show you where he is. You can tell he's live and he's there, and he starts to take some steps, I'm assuming, towards the ring. But I can't tell if he's in the crowd. I can't tell if he's on the ramp. You don't know. You can't really tell anything. And then the lights go off again, and he's gone. Super kick by Ziggler. He gets the win. Creative way to get that match finished up.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm with you. Everything they've done with Bray has just been hooking me more and more. I'm calling this one of the most exciting returns ever.
I haven't been this excited to see someone re-debut in the ring in a long, long time.
Yeah.
If ever.
Yeah, this is really exciting stuff. I'm just really excited to see where they go from here with Bray Wyatt. But I mean, we've been saying this since the first Firefly Funhouse.
And I love the stuff with Rambling Rabbit now, because this is the second time Rambling Rabbit tried to blow the lid off the Funhouse. And Bray came in this time with his fist clenched, like he was gonna kill Rambling Rabbit again. And then he sees everybody, he's like, ha 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 ha, let me in. And then the Fiend shows up. And we haven't had that yet. We haven't had a Firefly Funhouse right into a Fiend appearance. Like, everything's different every single time. I think I speak for everyone when I say when we first started this, we all thought they were going to blow it. And they still could, but they haven't yet for sure.
Agree 100%. I also, before we get way deep in the woods with SmackDown, I really left one thing out of our Raw review that I really wanted to say.
Okay.
Remember they started the show with a 24/7 title match?
Yeah, but they really started it with the package about the championship title, which I thought was great.
Okay, well I'm going to the 24/7 title match.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember what the very first move in the 24/7 title match was?
Was it a roll-up?
It just got started with a roll-up.
Good.
I just can't. Why does every move in a 24/7 match have to be that roll-up?
Well, that's them tipping their hat, I think, saying, "Ha we know that you're waiting for the roll-up." I think that was on purpose.
I don't think that at all.
Really?
Yes, I think that's just the way they go into that's the mentality when I think they tried to get like, will it be a surprise right from the beginning title change? And it wasn't.
Oh, see, I think of it as a wink.
I did not think of it as a wink.
Okay.
Anyway, let's get back to SmackDown. All right.
Yeah.
So you want to start at the top?
Yeah, start at the top. I really enjoyed it. Kevin, you have Shane say he's not going to be there, setting up the whole thing with SummerSlam with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens comes out, cuts a great promo. Drew McIntyre comes out. Kevin Owens is so good in this role. And if you'd asked me if he was going to be one of the biggest faces they had, I would tell you no all day, because I think he's one of the best heels that they have. But he's doing great in this anti-hero role, and he got a big win. Like a big, clean win that I was kind of surprised was big and clean.
Yeah. And, when it happened, my reaction was like, man, is Drew just done?
I don't believe so.
I mean, just looking at him, he shouldn't be. But I just feel like, has he ever had a big victory?
Well, I thought they finally pulled him off of. He was Dolph Ziggler's henchman, essentially. And then he was doing his own thing. And then they made him Baron Corbin's henchman. And then he did his own thing. And now he's Shane McMahon's henchman. He just needs to do his own thing. And he's got the look. He cuts a great promo. His entrance music is rad. I mean, his moveset is cool. He's finally like what I think he always wanted to be. And they're just booking him like a dum-dum. But okay. I was okay with him losing.
So everything you just said, and I don't have the word for word in front of me, but everything you just said could be applied to Apollo Crews, could be applied to Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
I know it's earlier in the game for Drew.
Well, except for one thing. I don't know if you could apply he cuts a great promo to Bobby Lashley or Apollo Crews.
Okay, well, mostly what you said could be applied to both of those guys.
Absolutely. I think Drew has that well-rounded sports entertainer thing where he's okay with a mic in his hand.
But the thing, he's going to need a victory at some point in big fashion.
Right. I mean, he took a stunner on the table outside, which was supposed to break. You could tell by Kevin Owens' face and the pain in his back that table was supposed to give when he landed on his ass for the stunner.
Yeah.
And then another stunner in the ring, and they gave Kevin Owens the big win. I hope he gets into that match with Shane, and they book it so Shane gets no offense whatsoever.
You just want it to be a squash?
I think that would be a very effective way to book Kevin Owens right here. They've done squashes before at SummerSlam. Remember the John Cena squash with Brock Lesnar?
Sure.
Just have Kevin Owens come out and just drag Shane McMahon from post to post, pun intended, and then put him on the ground and beat him within an inch of his life.
Well, I mean, listen, if this is the swan song for Shane, if he doesn't have a return in mind after this and he's just going to go away, it might not be a bad idea.
Yeah. Forget the coast to coast. Drag him post to post.
Look at you, Jer. He is one wild and crazy guy.
Hey, Booker man. Look at me booking. Look at me booking. So I enjoyed the beginning. Did you enjoy the beginning?
The beginning was fine. I wasn't in the mood, I guess. I don't know. It just it was fine.
I will admit that from here on in, for a while, Bayley, Ember Moon, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, and then even Charlotte Flair and Trish Stratus. It all just kind of blended into one big women's segment that didn't interest me one bit. And you know how I feel about Jerry the King Lawler. So,
oh yeah, we'll get to that. The women's division right now is not in a good spot, in my opinion. You know, now that we're just talking about this, I'm realizing, have we even seen Lacey Evans since the loss to Seth and Becky?
I read an article. She and Baron have both been seen quite a bit on WWE Main Event.
Oh, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's worse than not being seen at all, I think.
Uh-huh. Like, they're getting TV time, but they're getting TV time like...
Oh, no. I didn't know it was
like
that
Heath
bad.
Slater gets TV time, yeah.
Oh, no. Listen, Baron Corbin, fine. I haven't given up on Lacey Evans yet.
Right. Now I've got to beat it on a Saturday morning.
It's just not a good time to beat it. It's just not.
It's just not.
It's just not. Especially when you got two kids, one's got sports, one's dancing. It's hard to beat it at that time of morning.
It really is.
I love you, Jared. What's next?
Well, at this point we've already seen the Firefly Funhouse. I mean, well, never mind. Let's focus a little more on the Jerry the King Lawler, Trish Stratus, Charlotte. What'd you think of that? I didn't care for it.
So it was weird. Here was what I thought about that. It was weird from a wrestling is real point of view. It was like, okay, sure, I get it. They were in Toronto and that Trish is from there. But if it wasn't to have a match get signed for SummerSlam, which is why Trish said she was not there. She said she was not there. She does not want to do any other one more match kind of thing. Why was she even there in the first place? I don't know, the whole thing just felt very fast for me.
Right. If you're going to have this segment happen and you're going to make it believable as to why she would be there and why the King is there, I know Charlotte's on SmackDown, but it needed to be at the Raw reunion.
That would have been a better place to do it. And I actually was mistaken. You're right. That show was in Memphis. Not Toronto. SummerSlam's in Toronto.
Yes.
Right. So, and also, like, I know that, and I'll give her this much. Trish was a real high point as far as wrestling ability goes in an era when women's wrestling was anything but. But at that same point, women's wrestling has come so far that she is now, even by those standards, she looks like a diva. And
right. She was the high water mark, but has long since been surpassed. It's like if you put Babe Ruth on a baseball field now, he'd never hit the ball. These guys are throwing 98 miles an hour. It's evolved.
Right. And also, while I enjoy seeing her, and I do think she's still insanely beautiful, she's not someone I'm wanting to see wrestle again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get, she was at Evolution too, wasn't she? And we didn't care about that either.
It really was one of the worst matches on that card.
Yeah.
And they did really well that night.
So yeah, I don't get excited for Trish Stratus wrestling. I'd be more excited if she was just going to be in somebody's corner.
I'd be more excited if she wrestled Jerry the King Lawler.
Yeah. So, but she still looks great.
Take a pile driver. Pow.
Man, if you watch in her first year in wrestling, I defy you to find someone who is as good looking on the entire planet.
I know.
When she was like the heel with TNA. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Although Stacy Keibler always got my engine running.
Stacy Keibler, for some reason, my brain always just wants to spit out Kelly Kelly. Something about Kelly Kelly to me is so hot.
She's the first ever female 24/7 champion, Kelly Kelly.
I know it, pal.
Congratulations to her. Next, we have Finn Balor and Dolph Ziggler, which was a good match, but the payoff was The Fiend.
Without a doubt. And I also want to take this opportunity, since we've already talked about The Fiend, to let you know that I think that Ziggler is nailing in these insanely good promos too.
Yeah, you have to give Ziggler credit. He does so well. He's not booked to be the top guy, but he's legitimate every time you see him on the camera. And he beat Finn. My one worry here is the way they're booking it. Conventional wisdom would have Finn Balor. He keeps taking the Sister Abigail, taking the loss to Dolph Ziggler, tormented by The Fiend. the face is being chased and hunted, and at some point gets his triumphant moment, right? But that will be a real bad move if they have the Fiend debut and lose to Finn Balor.
Okay.
Don't you agree, or do you think it wouldn't matter if, like, I don't want to see Bray Wyatt be the scariest dude to lose matches again.
I don't want to show my hands. I just think there's no way that's not even a thought in my head.
Okay.
It's not even a thought in my head. In fact, I could just say this for the predictions episode, but we're supposed to talk about the new stuff. My understanding is Finn's taking an extended break after SummerSlam.
Okay. Good. That's okay. There's plenty of matches on SummerSlam that we'll disagree on, pal. This will probably not be one. I'm just hopeful they don't blow it.
I can't think of a match I can't think of the last time I was this excited to see a match. I'm just so excited to see what they do with Bray.
I know. Like, it makes me want to fast forward. Like, I did it with SmackDown because I didn't watch SmackDown live. I fast forwarded till I got to some Bray stuff, and then I watched all the Bray stuff, and then I went and I watched the whole episode all over again. Like, I couldn't help it. I need to see it.
It's exciting stuff. This is something that's just been going so well. And then Dolph also, with as good as he's been talking here lately, is backing it up in the ring. He really is like, and this is a compliment, I feel like, even though he might not take it as one. Like, when you think of the Intercontinental champions, like from back in the day, like the Hennigs, the Perfects, the Hearts, they were usually they're the best workers in the company. They're just a little untested in the main event. Mm-hmm. That's what Dolph is to me. He's such a good promo. He's got a great look to me, but it's not necessarily a main event look. And he is phenomenal when the bell rings. He's just that definitive mid-level champ.
The show stealer.
Yeah.
The next thing I really find interesting, and it just makes me wish that AJ Styles was the Universal title holder, because I like the idea of an all-champion New Day tangling with an all-champion OC.
This, to me, is just a great example of there are too many belts.
Everybody has a belt. I mean, there are 6 belts represented in this feud now.
And they're all the same. It's 2, well, I guess 4 tag team titles and 2 2 singles titles.
Yeah, well, I mean, one's the big guy,
one's the
big
guy.
One's the US.
But still, they all have belts.
Everybody gets a trophy these days.
Everybody's got a trophy, man.
And then I'm going to shut up, and I'm really curious about what you thought about how they ended the show. Roman Reigns' big SummerSlam challenge that never happened.
Yeah, so I was okay with the way they ended the show. A small thing. I always like the whodunits, especially when it's a cliffhanger. I mean, I've got a guess as to who done it, but it doesn't really matter. The only thing was, again, from a Wrestling is Real standpoint, the show ended like 90 seconds after the attack happened. I don't even know that Roman Reigns would have been in the ring by the time the show had to go off the air.
He's not one for getting to the ring in a hurry.
Yeah, so that's just my only thought was he wouldn't have even had time to make his announcement, and they're showing him walking to the ring. So, right. And then the other obvious thing, I mean, if you weren't thinking this, I don't know what planet you're on. It could have looked so real, but they chose to make it look so fake with all the camera angles.
Yeah. It's interesting because the way they did Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley blowing up the stage looked so good and was so well done. This was a little hokier, but I was still okay with it.
Dude, there were like cameras in like the stage props that fell that made and like not only that, they had the wherewithal to cut to it. Like,
by the way, is your guess Braun Strowman? Anytime a stage collapses, I just assume it's Braun Strowman.
No, is that really your guess?
Anytime the stage collapsed.
He's just in such a blood feud with Samoa Joe right now that no one else makes sense to me.
Oh, he isn't blood feud with Samoa Joe.
But you know
You're
what?
right.
The fact that you need jerked Braun Strowman and I need jerked Samoa Joe shows that it could be a good whodunit. I don't know.
Here's what I want to say. I was really thinking about it a lot because we have and will continue to take these stories and watch them and pick things out that we like and pick things out that we don't. But I do want to say that I'm very happy that the WWE, whether they're giving me the story I want, whether they're giving me the winners I want, or booking it exactly the way that I would, I am at least happy that they are finally, it seems, booking things consistently. They're not starting. They're not changing the rules every 3 seconds. I mean, we're still dealing with the wild card thing, but no one's even bringing that up anymore. I feel like we're getting back to a more stable, where it seems like they're planning things out ahead of time more than just like Vince rewriting a show an hour before it airs.
Yeah, I feel like, remember, like, so 1997 wasn't like the best year on TV for the company or sales or pay-per-view buys or whatever, but it was viewed as a year of like rebuilding. And they established stars like Austin and Rock, who became stars a year or two after that. Mm-hmm. These things don't take place overnight. And I think that maybe with new leadership like Heyman and Bischoff, long-term stories like this, if it is changing, you're not going to know it immediately.
Right. But you can tell that the way that they're booking and everybody's getting intertwined a little bit better. I feel like they're trying for sure.
Yeah, I can get with that. But we're in that 97 time frame right now, just because if it is getting better, we're on that slope. And
I'm happy to say that I'm legit excited for SummerSlam.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I think it's a little early. I don't think there's been any time in history it was as early as August 11th. I always associate it with the end of August.
Yeah, it's usually near the beginning of school.
Yeah, I mean, I know that the very first night I ever watched wrestling was SummerSlam in 1994, and that was August 29th. I just always associate it with like the last Sunday of the year, or I'm sorry, of the month. It just feels so early.
It is. But I'm okay with it because I want to get to Bray Wyatt.
But look, I'd rather have a good SummerSlam on August 11th than a bad SummerSlam on August 29th.
Absolutely.
You know? So, what else? I think, is that pretty much it?
That's pretty much it. Next week, we go back to normal. No more Spaghetti Wednesdays.
Hey, cool. So that means we can do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday if you can, because we'll have predictions next week.
Predictions. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, so let us know what you thought about SmackDown and the build for SummerSlam, and are they on some sort of an upslope? You know, are you feeling good about SummerSlam? There's a lot to cover, you know, from last night. Or you know what? Also, would be a good question to ask you guys. I thought for sure Jerry was just going to be like, yeah, it's obviously Samoa Joe that dropped all that crap on Reigns, but he didn't. He said it was Braun Strowman. Did you have another thought? Is it clearly one of the two of us? Who's attacking Roman Reigns, pals? Come on.
Well, the question needs to be, what was your initial thought? Because now that you say Samoa Joe, that makes sense. That's the answer, Rob. You're going to be right. I think you're right there. But when I didn't think of him right away. So I'm curious what people thought of right away.
Well, Braun's in nothing right now either. It's not a terrible thought.
Right.
You know, maybe he wants to, or I mean, who knows if we'll even have an answer next week or if they'll even remember this next week. I also thought it was interesting that he didn't really sell it. Like, I thought that was cool. I usually do something like that. It's to put him out of a match. And I don't think that's where they're going with this.
Hey, you never know. Triple H doesn't have a match for SummerSlam yet. Could be him.
You never know, pal. In the meantime, I think we got to it all. So for myself, the Rob, my tag team partner in podcast, the man who's looking so good today, the wild and crazy guy himself, Jerry Valeri. We will see you 3 times next week for our Raw recap, a SmackDown recap, and SummerSlam predictions. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you Tuesday.
Suck it, Martin Short. Wild and crazy guys.